Good evening, everyone. My name is Landa Jeray Morgan. This is my beautiful wife.
I'm Rotunda Morgan.
And you're tuned in to another episode of
Living More with the Morgans.
Now, y'all, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've been on, you guys. And right now, as you can see, the leaves are falling. It's autumn. It's looking all pretty and everything. Look at them leaves falling, babe.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Look at all that.
Yeah.
Ain't that nice?
It's beautiful.
Y'all, it's hot up here in Dallas. It's 80 degrees in Dallas.
It is.
Y'all don't know what's going on, but right now we're in the middle of fall.
Right.
And you would not know it if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here in Texas. It's straight trash, y'all. I mean, trash. And tomorrow's supposed to be in the 30s.
Wow.
We supposed to be freezing cold. So today, tomorrow we're going to be wearing scarves and thick drawers. And today we out here in, thick drawers. And today, y'all, we out here in shorts and bathing suits.
Right.
I don't know what's going on, y'all. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Living More with the Morgans.
Thank you.
And you know what we're going to do? We're going to magically make these leaves stop. Hey.
I love it.
Already. See how I be doing?
Yeah, you be doing it.
I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuned in right now, you're probably watching us on several different channels. Right now, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/Live More Morgans, right? And if you're also tuned in on our YouTube channel, you can tune in on our YouTube channel right now at youtube.com/Live More Morgans as well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell icon so that when we come on, you guys get a notification and you want to tune into the hottest, dopest podcast right now that's out there right now. That's Living More with the Morgans. And then we're also on the Elon Musk social media network.
Right.
I'm a hater, I ain't gonna lie. Tune in right now on Twitter, Periscope, twitter.com/Live More Morgans. And so again, right now we're on all three of those platforms. We're on YouTube and pretty soon we'll be on Instagram. But right now, since we're not streaming live on Instagram, you can definitely sign up. Excuse me, not sign up. You can click the little follow button. That's right. I'm talking about sign up. I'm in my business mode.
Yeah, you're
right
in your
now.
business
I'm in my
mode.
business mode.
Right.
You can go on Instagram right now, hit that app, hit follow. Living More with the Morgans, Living More Morgans on Instagram right now. You can follow us there and get all the information. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And you guys, I know it's been a minute since we've been on because, man, a whole lot has been going on.
Yeah.
And we're just not coming off of the Thanksgiving holiday, babe. And we're going to talk about that tonight because our show topic tonight is a family affair.
Yeah.
And right now, we're in the holiday season. We're feeling festive. We're feeling good. Things are going on. We're starting to bring in Christmas. The Christmas season is coming in. Everything's about to start turning red and green and white around here because of Christmas. But right now, we getting started with the holidays, you guys. And we just came off of Thanksgiving here in America. For those who might be scattered abroad watching this broadcast, we just came off of Thanksgiving holiday here in America on last Thursday. And Thanksgiving is big here in America. It's big here for families. Families are gathering, coming together. Loved ones who haven't seen each other in a while, they come together. Hopefully, at least once a year for Thanksgiving. You know, just to kick it and just to kind of enjoy each other's company and just to celebrate one another. So right now, we're hoping that you guys are tuned in. We're going to check some of our social media channels right now on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you're tuned in, hit us up with some comments. This is an interactive show, you guys.
Please.
We don't want y'all to be quiet. We don't want y'all to be dull. Y'all can ask questions. Y'all can chime in. Y'all can like. Y'all can share. Y'all can comment. We want you guys to be engaged because this is an interactive program, you guys. So we want to get your feedback. We want to get your interaction. So definitely hit us up on the comments. And we just want to make sure that you guys are tuned in, and that you guys can hear us and everything is coming across good with the audio and the visuals where you are located. And right now we're tuned in on several different channels. We've got people in Africa, we've got people in Europe that are watching us from around the world. And so we just want to make sure that we're coming across clearly, that everything is looking good. Look at the set, y'all. Look at the lights. Look at that. Look at the lights and the ambiance. You know how
It's
we
beautiful.
do. It's beautiful, ain't it?
I love it.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
You sound like muddier.
We trying to do the ambiance and we trying to do the lighting
Right.
and everything to get us in that festive
Right.
holiday mood for Thanksgiving, coming out of Thanksgiving, getting ready for
Yes.
Christmas. And so next week, tune in because we're going to have something really festive for the Christmas season as we bring it in with the month in December.
Yeah.
So, babe, how was your Thanksgiving? What's going on with you?
Well, actually, it
Well-
wasn't like,
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah.
I really got sick. Still is recovering right now, sinus infection.
Right.
And, lost my voice up until what time today was it? Wow.
About 4 o'clock, 3 or
4
4 o'clock.
Yeah. And couldn't talk and still congested, but a lot better. And I wanted to really come on and everything. I love doing this every Tuesday night with you and our fans, and we just wanted to come on and just tell you guys hey, we love you guys.
Absolutely.
And it's the time of the year where it's time for family. It's time for us to come together as family and to talk about the things and get together. Getting together it's important because the time we live in now, honey, is like so many things are going on, and family and time spent together is not time wasted. It is very important. Your kids start to grow up, and it's important if they still have grandparents, and
Right.
uncles and aunts, and all to come together. Sometimes you got the uncles and aunts that come in, and you rather see them going and coming, but
Yeah, they come in with the
Right.
with the red cup,
yeah, the red cup,
dancing to the old school music.
yeah, with that shag and Jerry curl.
Shag and Jerry girl.
Right.
Right.
And you're like, okay, settle down. But it's
Right.
still good, to have family and
Absolutely.
everybody's together. So it's a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know last week it was tough for you because, like you said, you were going through the sinus infection and you're still really
Yes.
kind of coming out of it now.
Yeah.
So you guys, y'all keep my wife lifted up in prayer, y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all keep her lifted up in prayer. She too beautiful and needed to be not to be on air. And she even suggested that, well, why don't you go ahead and do the show by yourself?
I did.
Then it wouldn't be living more with the Morgans,
Right.
would it?
It wouldn't be.
It would be living more with Landa.
Right.
And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So I was
and Papa, our spiritual father, he called and prayed over me before,
Right on.
and
Yes.
everything and I thank God for that and thank God for him. It's like, daughter, rest. And I'm
Right.
like, Papa, it's living more with the Morgan, not living more with Landa Morgan.
Right. So we had to be together and we had to
Right.
do this because last
Yeah.
week we missed because of the holidays. We had
Yes.
so much going on
We
with the
did.
holiday season, you guys, and so I wanted to make sure that we at least get this one in to close out the month of November, going into the month of December.
Yes.
And I believe some great things is going to pop off
I know that.
for this last month
I
at the end
know
of the
that.
year. Why? Because it's holiday season. It's
Yeah.
time for family to get
Yes.
together. It's time, things about to get festive
Yes.
all around the world. And so that's what living more with the Morgans is all about, is
Right.
that we start really putting an emphasis on living more, living this life to the fullest, putting away drama, putting away all this petty stuff,
Right.
and focusing on what's really important.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we don't always hit the target. I know I don't. Me personally, we don't always hit the target because we can be inundated with everything else that's going on in the world.
Ugh.
And we can be so focused on stuff that's not important, stuff that we're
Right.
worrying about that we can't change. It's not going to make a difference being focused on it.
Right.
And I know I'm bad at that. I can be so bogged down with what's going on. I'm trying to do things with business or whatever. I'm trying to get things going. And sometimes I can miss opportunities of just living.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's so good because it is so true. We do get so inundated with what's going on in our lives
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, I remember when we were growing up. I mean, you like a year from being a Gen X. So I remember when you were born, but I remember us growing up, and and we didn't have all of this social media.
Right.
We didn't have cell phones and things like that. I think the last thing I remember was a beeper. But anyway,
See, that was before my time. Y'all don't know nothing about no beeper.
somebody paging me. Hold on, baby.
That's somebody born in the 70s.
I was born in the 60s.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But
I don't know nothing about no beeper.
but we had, that was the last thing we had. But we used to get on the phone and call one another
Right.
and talk.
Yeah.
You know, and now people don't even like to do that much anymore. We text, we might messenger each other, but we just don't make the time anymore to just, call each other on the phone and talk and say, hey, how are you? How's your week? How are you doing? Just to encourage one another. Yeah, we thank God for text and all that. That's great. But, the interaction of voice, to hear someone's
Right.
voice say,
Right.
hey, how are you?
Right.
How are you doing?
Yeah, because I've noticed that even in sending texts, a text can get misconstrued real quick.
Easily.
And and you can think somebody's tone is one way and it's a
Right.
different way
Yeah.
even through text. So
Right.
I agree with what
Even
you're saying.
emails.
Yeah, even through email. And so
Right.
y'all, it's different by picking up the phone.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have an opportunity to actually get there and go see them,
Yes.
even better, you guys. But
Yes.
I wanted to give a shout out to those who are watching right now from our Living More with the Morgans Facebook official page. We got my fam Shervin is on here. What's going on, fam? I hope that you are recovering and getting well, my
Yes.
brother. We've been praying for you,
Praying
lifting
for
you
you.
up.
Yes.
And we know you're going to be back,
Yes.
back on the keys, laying it thick on the keys, man. I know you're doing good. So good to hear from you, brother. And then
Yes.
also, who else we had on here? With Tamika Long. She is on, and she is commenting about her beeper. Man, y'all old. Y'all had beepers?
Sis, you had a beeper? We're
Y'all-
going to talk Sunday.
Yeah, y'all old as a mug. Y'all had beepers.
Hey, we had a beeper. Wait a minute, hold on, babe. Somebody paging.
Oh, good God. Gee whiz. Thank you so much, Tamika, for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
My regards to your husband and
And
the
the
kiddos.
family,
Tell them that we
yes.
love them as well. And
Very
thank you so
much
much for
so.
tuning in again. And
Yes.
so if you guys are watching right now, if you're streaming live with us, go ahead and hit that share button, share it on your wall, invite some people to go ahead and tune in. Why? Because this is clean content. There's enough trash, there's enough junk and garbage out there, and we want to do this to stay positive. We want to do this so that people can have an alternative outlet to some clean, good, wholesome stuff. We're going
Right.
to trip out, we're going to laugh, we're going to do all of that. But we're going to get down to the nitty gritty in this podcast as well. Why? Because we got some issues and things that we need to help fix in our families, in our marriages, in our
Yes.
relationships, all that, you guys.
Yeah,
So-
and ourselves.
and in ourselves, right? Yeah, we need to start living more and living better and living for one another.
Yeah.
Not just ourselves, because we can't do it by ourselves.
That's so
We
good.
got to start living for one another. And so you
one
guys,
another.
for one another. All right now. See,
I'm trying to be romantic.
I know
but
you
see,
are.
you're up here going,
Y'all,
you're
she
going
do-
left, right.
No, I ain't going left.
Yeah, you-
Because you do this every episode.
But babe, I'm
When the freak come,
affectionate.
it's nighttime and the freak come out.
See, you
The freaks
see,
come out at night,
the
y'all.
younger generation don't understand. Millennial don't understand intimacy on another level and understand romance.
I do.
We're gonna get into that too.
She wanted to hold my hand, y'all. So
Oh,
we're gonna be romantic, and I know she's gonna be nasty and
We got to
stank
leave.
with it as soon as we go offline.
I hope Papa and Mama not watching this.
So you guys, thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you.
And so what we're talking about today is a family affair.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because like I said, right now we're in the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Families are coming together. And y'all, one of the things that we're really talking about, and I'm glad that you brought up, babe, was communication. And sometimes, in our families, and I can speak for us as African Americans in particular. And if you're Caucasian, if you're Hispanic, I'm sure it's in your community, in your culture
and
as well.
chime in the comments.
Exactly. Chime in the comments. Let us know if it's the same in your heritage and your culture as well.
Right.
That sometimes we as black people, the only time we even get together and say anything to one another all year is during Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas,
Maybe
and unfortunately funerals.
and funerals, right? So that's the only time we get a chance to really just see each other and fellowship with one another as family, fam.
Right.
And there's something wrong with that,
Yeah.
right? And I know as African Americans, it's prevalent in our community because when I look at it like our Indian brothers and sisters, when I look at our Asian brothers and sisters, I look at Hispanic brothers and sisters, even our white brothers and sisters, they get together often.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And their family unit is like it's important to them.
Yeah.
It's vital to them and to their heritage, and keeping that as an integral part of their heritage with that family unit.
But it used to be like that for in back in the 80s. It used to be like that before that.
You know,
family was important in the African American communities. Especially, I know that when I was growing up, you know, I had my grandparents.
Right.
You know, I had my grandparents, uncles, and aunts, and all of that. And we would all mostly gather at my mom's house, and all of us, we couldn't wait for the holidays to come because it was so much fun just to be together, just to be around one another, to laugh and to listen to some old stories that, you know, the older folks would talk about, and then to listen to your mom with her sisters, her siblings argue. It was fun because, you know, they would sit and argue about nothing, you know. Well, who made these collards and who made these turnips? They didn't put enough fat back in it. You know what I mean?
Do we put sugar or grits or don't we?
Right. We would do stuff like that, and it would be so much fun because we were all together, and we, you know, the new additions to the family, we got a chance to see them, and, you know, as far as if anyone got married or if there was a new baby in the family, it was just to be with grandma and then her grandchildren, and, you know, we went up to almost six generations of kids, you know, that my grandmama had, and so that was always fun. So we were accustomed to getting together and being together as a family, and yeah, it was during the holidays because, again, most of our families are spread out.
Right.
You know, some are, and not everyone is in the same city. So that made it even more special. But you're right, even with family reunions, you know, we would have family reunions and we would try to get together more in that too, so that we could come together and learn more about our families and learn more about, you know, people that we never knew or never met. So, you know, it was like that. But we have let, I believe, and you guys chime in, we have let society and we've let what's going on in the world, and we've let the time that we're living in. Now we're in the 21st century. Everything is faster. You got computers now. You got, you have all these devices and everything now. So people are more now not so much wanting to come together because all these other things are taking that space, I believe. And we're so interested in what's going on in TikTok and what's going on Instagram and what's going on with these reels that we forget, you guys, that the most important thing is not when the funeral comes and we're all around the casket and folks falling out and you have to carry folks back out, you know, out, and the paramedics in the front. But the most important thing is to get together with one another before we even get to that point. That's what living more is. Right? That's
a great point. And you hit on a lot of things, you know, and you talked about how back in the day we were close-knit, as particularly in the African American community, we were close-knit with our families.
Yes.
And it's funny because I was telling our banker maybe about 2 weeks ago when I met her. She's an Indian woman.
Yes.
And I told her, and we were just having a conversation about family and, you know, travels and different things like that.
Right.
And I told her, I said, one thing I admire, among many things, but one thing I admire about the Indian culture, not Native American, but Indian, the Indian culture, is that you're very close-knit with family.
Right.
Very close-knit. And I told her, I said, I admire that, and I'm a bit envious of that because we used to be like that as African Americans.
Right.
We used to be close knit. Like you said, the only time we're coming together every now and then is as a family reunion, or when somebody, passes away, we all at the home going,
Right.
not funeral, but we all at the home,
Home
going.
going.
Yeah, we at the
Right.
home going, and somebody's, draped over the casket, and mama in the back cooking collard greens.
Excuse me.
That's the only time we seem to get together. And then for Thanksgiving, why? Because, and usually for Thanksgiving, that's the only time people have a substantial amount of time to take off of work,
Right.
to be able to travel, to be able to come and go as need be.
Right.
So, but we used to be close knit,
Right.
and that's the thing. I grew up in the 80s, 90s.
Right.
I was a young cat in the early to mid 90s, and I didn't see that much in my family.
Yeah.
Now we had I'm the youngest of four, siblings.
Right.
And I was fortunate to have both parents in the home.
Right.
So, but we didn't have a lot of family come down here to Dallas to see us because they were spread everywhere, mainly on the West Coast and in the Midwest. But we didn't have people really come together for the holidays, for Thanksgiving and so forth. And it's funny. I thank God we haven't had a whole bunch of funerals.
Right.
And so we haven't had to even gather for them. But, unfortunately, that has kept us apart,
Right.
And so, like you said, there's amongst generations, with me being a millennial, you being a Gen X, it has been different. It has been different on my upbringing because we didn't have that close-knit family as far as with relatives are concerned.
Right.
So Thanksgiving for us was mainly spent with my immediate family.
Right.
Mom, Dad was doing a lot of the cooking. Mom couldn't cook.
Right.
God bless her. And Mom, if you're watching, it's the truth. No one's lying here. But and Dad was doing the cooking, and we were chilling as the kids, and so we had us.
Yeah.
I can't remember, maybe the last 15 years I've been a part of last maybe 30 years I've probably been a part of maybe 1 to 2 family reunions.
Okay.
So right now I've got relatives that right now if they walked in front of me, I wouldn't know who they are.
Right.
And they probably wouldn't recognize me.
Right.
They were like, man, you sure done gained some weight. Well, I ain't seen you in 20 years,
Right.
But that's the unfortunate thing about us is that we're not bringing that family unit closer together like we could. And
But
like we
you
should.
know what? You remember we were talking about this the other day. It is our responsibility to do it
Right.
now.
Right.
What didn't happen in our families, if not having that close family ties and coming together and stuff, now it's our responsibility to either start it up or to continue it on.
Right.
We can't make excuses now because we, with technology and things, we can always come together and stuff and say, hey, you guys, if you're on the East Coast, well, we'll come to the East Coast.
Right.
We plan it out.
Right.
And so we can't make an excuse. Oh, okay, well, they used to do this. Well, guess what? The older generation that is no longer here, they want us to continue it on.
Absolutely.
I know my grandmother and my aunts and them would love for that. Even now, with my parents being older, and now that they're in assisted living and everything, that has changed the dynamics of us coming together, as far as being at the house and, having company over and all of that, because now they're in another place.
Right.
And so now we're having to kind of find ways and to come together where everybody can come to, in one place, in one space.
When you say that, I think about that movie that came out like in the late 90s, Soul Food.
I remember it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was
a
great movie.
A great movie. And I think about that, and even a lot of the black holiday movies, if you notice, they always kind of centered around grandma.
Yes.
Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Big Mama. That's the
Mama.
thing. I didn't have that. And thank God my grandmother's still living today.
Right.
But like I said, we didn't have that go home for the holidays, let's sit down at Big Mama's house. She's cooking dinner. She's telling story. I didn't have that, And so
but she's still here.
And she's still here.
That was a good thing. That was a great thing you just said. And your
Right.
grandmother is her late 80s.
Late 80s, about 88.
And she's the same age as my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like we can do it now.
You can do it.
We can do it now. And that's what I would
Yes.
tell people, where if you're kind of similar to me in my story and you didn't do much of that, you can start doing it more now, right? If the baton wasn't passed to you, pick it up. If somebody dropped
good, babe.
bend down and pick up the baton
Right.
and go ahead and start running with that bad boy.
Yes.
And then pass it to your kids and make sure that they know. And see, and sometimes in our families, there's a lot of hidden stuff
Yeah.
that we don't even know what went down and what happened with
And it
Uncle
doesn't-
Cleophas
right.
and cousin Junebug
Right.
and Shay and Earl, and something happened to them in the 5th grade that we don't know nothing about, and so there can be this animosity
Right.
and vendettas and
Yeah.
against one another, and all we want to do is just love each other and have a good time.
And our responsibility is not to pick that up and
Right.
carry that on.
Right.
If something happened in the family like that, our responsibility is to what? Is to say, no, we're not going to continue that on in my time, in my generation. What we're going to do is we're going to go forward in new. We're going to go forward in new. I don't know what happened back then. Everybody have their own story. Okay? Everybody think they're right. Oh, well, this happened. And it doesn't matter, you guys, because now if we're going to continue on with that, we're never going to come together. The time we live in now, time is short.
Oh God.
It's so short.
I'm glad you hit on that, and that's one thing I really want to hone in on real quick.
Right.
Is that time is so short
It
now.
is.
And the world is so much different than just 10, 15, 20 years ago.
It is.
And so with time
can
being,
feel it,
oh, you can
to
feel it.
see it,
You can
yeah.
feel the world shifting.
Yeah.
You can feel the world being more angrier
Yeah.
than it was just
Yeah.
years ago, just a few years ago.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
we have to do all that we can with the time that we have.
Absolutely.
Yes, we're praying for long life. Yes, we're praying for longevity. But what are we showing God that we want to do with the life that we
Right.
got now?
That's right.
Right?
What are you doing with the time that you have now?
Exactly.
Right. Because we only have right now.
That's
Even
it.
even 1 second ago is past.
Right.
That's past.
Right. I think it was Myron Golden that said that, like, we don't even have now.
Yeah.
Because once you said it, that was a second, that was a nanosecond
That
ago.
was a nanosecond
That was a past.
ago. Absolutely.
So you don't really have now.
No. Well,
Right? You do not have now.
You do not. That's why Essence loves so much for us to come together.
Yeah.
It's not about the food and cooking the food. It's like Justice, our nephew. It's the bonding.
Yeah.
You know, they want to come together. They want to have the time with family. Go out to dinner.
Yes.
Go out, hang out, and go bowling. Go out and do things like that.
Right.
They want to do this.
Right.
And so we should want to do it even the more. When your children want to get together, you should want to do it even the more, because you should want them to know their family.
Right.
You should want them to know the relatives, and to come together and pass that on to their children, and so forth and so on. Because again, whatever happened back then, at this time, point in time, does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
I mean,
It don't even
really,
matter.
nothing really matters.
Right.
If it's not something that's healthy and something that is good for us going forward. You guys, like me and Babe said, the time we live in now, if you guys are even over 40, you can feel it in the atmosphere. This is a totally different time. You can feel it. You can sense it. Oh, yeah, God is doing some amazing things, but you can see people are checking out of here.
Right.
You can see people have gotten tired. You can see that you can see people that are that no longer are around anymore, because they chose a lot of them to leave this world.
Right.
We have, it's too much going on, wars and rumors of wars again, and now there is a war, Ukraine and Russia. You guys, and it's just too much, and we have to stop and say, okay, when it comes to our hub, which is our families, it doesn't matter what's going on the outside. We're not going to let that come on the inside. We're not going to allow that to influence our our coming together, allow it to influence us to not come together.
Right.
It's too important now.
Right.
If it's not, it was important then, but it's too important now.
And it's funny because every time I look on the news,
Right.
I mean,
somebody has passed.
right, somebody is passed.
Right.
You know, you I mean, folks can't even go into Walmart now.
That. Come on,
you dig what
man.
I'm saying? I mean,
Can't even go
you
to the
can't go. You
grocery
can't go to the
store.
grocery store now. You can't go to Walmart.
And these are outlets for us to get out and,
Right.
and get some air and go and like us women like to shop, you know.
Yeah,
Just,
the malls and movies. I mean, it's dangerous to go just about
Right.
anywhere, and that's not to put fear in us.
no.
But it is to say that the time has changed, and the times are changing to the point to where we can't hold on to grudges. We can't hold on to bitterness. We can't hold on to what, well, Mama told me about Aunt Pearl and
Right.
Aunt Leslie Mae
Yeah.
and Aunt
Any of them.
JoJo. We don't need we
Right.
don't need that toxicity
We don't
in our
need it.
relationships going forward.
And you know, I was just looking at my sister Ada is on tonight. Thank you, sis, for coming on. And she said the same thing. She said, amen. She said, let the past remain in the past.
Yes.
That's right. Even, especially when you weren't born, you know.
Right.
Yeah, somebody done took Pearl them wigs.
Right. Somebody got their wig jacked.
Right.
Back
They
in-
were
back in-
causing
back in-
Junebug.
Yeah, back in '54.
Right.
And Junebug owed Mama $5, and so now she angry and pissed at everybody. You know, everybody on this side of the family, feels the wrath of Junebug.
Right. We're seeing it funny, but
It is funny.
It is because it makes you realize how
stupid it is. Right, how dumb it is that we can't get together with our families. And again, this is not to say that there aren't issues in all ethnic cultures, because there are. Right, and issues are issues, problems are problems. They're in every culture, every family. But what we're saying, y'all, for this show, A Family Affair, is that we got to do better.
The art of communication.
Right, and we can do better. And we've got all these technological devices and iPads and flip phones and beepers and all this different stuff.
Not beepers.
You had one.
I had. That was
you had the Motorola.
You
had the Motorola.
I did. My daddy bought it too.
Yeah, you had that big brick on the side of your
It wasn't
your waist.
big. It was about the size of our monitor.
Yeah, one of the more big brick ones. But we got all these apparatuses, y'all, to talk and to communicate.
Right.
And we ain't communicating.
But
What are
we're
we
not
saying to one another?
communicating.
And then we getting heated and mad when a text come through, thinking that someone said it with an attitude, or they didn't say it with an attitude.
Right.
Why? Because we so tense and we so uptight and all this different stuff, because the world is shifting.
Right, and because we don't talk enough.
And we don't talk
We
enough.
don't communicate enough. We
Right.
would know the mannerism or the heart from which that person comes
Yes.
from if we would do what?
Open our mouths and talk.
And
Right.
talk and get to know one another.
Right. You're getting some comments on your page, so let's check out some of these comments. And
Okay.
somewhere, okay. And Tamika, you were saying some things on the last
That's
broadcast
good, sis.
before it cut off. So Tamika, if you would do us a favor and feel free to chime in with your comments, because there was one that you had said that I wanted to hone in on.
Right.
So feel free to keep commenting, you guys.
And again, my sis Ada said we must break these generational
Yes.
curses of backbiting, jealousy, malice, and hatred, unforgiveness in our families. It's time to build a family unit of our own in Christ.
Yes.
What's good?
Yes.
Not mama and daddy's way, but God's way.
Awesome.
That's awesome,
Awesome.
sis.
Yeah, and
Amen.
one thing that she said that that is so on point.
Yeah.
Not mom and dad's way,
Not mom and dad's way.
but God's way.
Right.
God wants the family. You know what? It's funny. She took it there, and I want to take it there real quick. If you read the Old Testament,
Oh yeah.
you look at the 12 tribes, right?
Oh yeah.
You look at the 12 tribes, and within those 12 tribes, you saw so much infighting and division amongst the 12 tribes. And you probably, and you still do.
You still do.
You see so much infighting.
Yes.
If you look at, if we took it back to Abraham, Ishmael, his firstborn.
Right.
Isaac, his secondborn.
Right.
Ishmael with the Egyptian servant.
Right.
Isaac with his wife Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And even today, these are half brothers and sisters, half brothers, excuse me. These are half brothers. They share the same father, different mamas.
Mm-hmm.
And today, 5,000 years later,
Right.
they still doing what? Bumping heads. What are the tribes doing? Bumping heads. And God never intended for any of that to be that way.
No.
And you can't tell me he did.
Right.
And so here we are today, family members, relatives. Some of us come from the same wombs, come from the same mom or from the same father,
Yes.
with different brothers and sisters or whatever. And we bumping heads and we clashing and we've got all this angst and malice and animosity, and God can't be pleased with us.
And when you were talking about the 12 tribes and stuff and all the, all of that was going on, sometimes, marrying and bringing other people into the family and all of that, sometimes that can cause controversy as well.
Right.
And stuff in the families where, like you were bringing up, siblings, sisters and brothers are not even as close anymore. And it's unfortunate, and it doesn't make sense that, you, like you said, we might not have been twins, but we shared the same womb. We both, we both come from the same womb. And why is it that we don't see one another? Why is it that we don't talk to one another? Why is it that there's an elephant in the room and one person know what the elephant is, but the other person don't?
You can break it down. You can go back to scripture again. With Jacob and Esau.
I was going to.
And they come from the same
Jacob
womb.
and Esau.
Same womb. And they was fighting in the
Doesn't
womb.
make sense.
Like, bruh, I mean, you got one grabbing his heel, like, nah, bruh.
Right.
In the womb? You can't tell me that that's God's heart.
No, it's not.
And that's not God's heart. And so here we are today talking about a family affair. Why? Because the holidays are upon us. And we're seeing all these societal changes in the world, particularly here in America.
Right.
And we're seeing all this craziness go on in the world. Murders, senseless killings, terrible weather patterns. People are getting sick. People are in hospitals and stuff. I mean, the things are going crazy right now.
Yes.
But people are still holding on to old silly stuff that doesn't matter. Old silly issues that aren't making a difference for today, that aren't making things better for today.
And this show should make all of us reanalyze.
Right.
Okay? Right. Reanalyze our relationships with our family members.
Right.
I know there's some family members that can be difficult. I understand that, but I know that us, people of God, I know that if we would show that love towards them, it turns the heart. It might not turn it at that moment, but if you continue to reach out and say, I just want to check on you, tell you hello, say hello, see how you're doing, I love you. If you continue to keep doing that, I believe, because that's the heart of God, love, I believe that can change some dynamics in our family's relationship if we would stop being stubborn, some of us, and just reach out and say, you know what, I'm going to let bygones be bygones. It doesn't matter because, like you said, our time here is short.
Very.
And everything that we do here is what? God is judging all of it. How we treat one another, how we interact with one another.
I'm glad you went
not.
there. I'm glad you went there because I don't think people fear that our lives are being viewed and that our lives will be judged by how we treat one another. Not how if you're a Christian, how you treat other Christians.
Right. Right.
Not how, if you're a Muslim, how you treat other Muslims. If you're Jewish, how you
Right.
treat other Jews. No, 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 no. God is looking at your entire life. And I don't think we
It
really
does.
understand how big that is and how vital that is that if we have angst and animosity and all these different things towards one another,
Right.
you understand?
Right.
Or things that we continue to perpetuate that are negative, then we got to answer for that stuff.
We have to
got to
answer
answer
for
for
that.
that. So I know even in me personally, and I can just be transparent, and we always going to be on this show.
Right.
There are things that I know that I sometimes hold on to because of what has happened in the past, or because something that someone has done to me, or how they treated me, or whatever.
Right.
So I have to make a concerted effort all the time to be like, yo, I gotta dismiss that.
Yeah.
I gotta forgive them, or I gotta go on, or I can't. I can't focus on that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I got to change things in me. So it's a constant, crucifixion, if you will.
Right.
It's
right.
a constant thing that I'm having to pin to the cross and like, yo, this ain't cool. This ain't how I'm thinking. That
Right.
ain't, that ain't what that is. Or, if I'm feeling angry or bitter or envious of somebody, I have to recognize that in me personally.
Right.
And be
right.
like, yo, that's not cool.
No,
that's not cool.
It's not cool. And you were right. We have to die to this right here every day, this flesh, because we will allow it to take over, and it will keep us from the best days and times of our lives.
Yeah.
I remember that show that my mom used to watch a little bit coming up. It was one of them soap operas, you guys, Days of Our Lives. And how that show reminded me of, these are the days of our lives. The day you make them what you want them to be. Holding on to anything that's not conducive or not good for you, holding on to any of that's negative, internally it is breaking down your body.
Right.
First of all, so you don't want to continue that because it's breaking down your body. Right. So many people have left this earth because they've had all these different issues inside of them because they were angry and upset. I recall, and of course I would never bring up a name, years and years ago when I used to work at this company, and I love the company I worked with, and I used to work with these ladies that ended up being, pretty close co-workers, and I never forget, one of them went through a real bad divorce, and when she talked about it, I thought that divorce had happened maybe within a year. She had been divorced from that man over 10 years.
Wow.
And she was still bitter and angry with him that he left her with, I think she had 2 children, if I'm not mistaken. But he left her with 2 children. And she was still bitter and angry. And she told me this. I'm young at the time. I'm in my 20s. And I remember telling her, you can't keep holding on to that.
Right.
And even at that time, I was going through separation and everything. And I'm telling her that because I know that down the line, God was telling me, I got more for you. Right. You think that this is it. This is not it. And I began to minister to her to tell her that. And I thought that, every day we seen each other. We worked together for over 5 years together. And I'm thinking that, at some point she would get it. She never did. You know why? It's not that she didn't get it, she wouldn't allow it to minister to her. She wouldn't allow herself to let that go. Wow. And she looked older, a lot older than she was.
You know what? And I'm glad you shared that, because oftentimes, whether we know it or not, we're chipping away at our youth.
We are. That's so true.
You're chipping away at opportunities.
Yes.
You're chipping away at the good things that life has to offer because you want to hold on to that anger.
That's right.
You want to hold on to what such and such did to me.
That's right.
You want to hold on to, like Ada was saying, you want to hold on to mama's way and daddy's way.
Right.
Instead of letting that crap go and finding out what does God want you to evolve in today.
Absolutely.
One of the things that Tamika said on her post here, from our official Living More with the Morgans Facebook page. She said, I shared in the previous broadcast that my generation and my family have a hard time coming together. Everyone is only concerned about their individual households or siblings. Our children barely know each other. I remember when our grandparents and grandparents made sure we came together when we were growing up.
Yes.
I want to totally hit on that.
Because that was me too.
That was me.
That was me too. But we did get together, but I get it.
Yeah, we didn't.
See, that's good.
I get her totally, because we wanted to know our cousins. We wanted to know how did y'all grow up? Like for me and my family, a lot of my cousins are mulatto. They're mixed.
Okay.
Okay. And so they have one black parent, one white parent.
Right.
And we all, of course, we understand that those households, the children are raised different than from a two black parent household.
Right.
It just is what it is.
It's different. Right.
But those are that was family to us. We didn't look at them like, oh, those, they're half white, blah blah blah. No, we wanted to know who you guys are. We wanted to know who our family was. But like Tamika said, we didn't come together for whatever reason, for whatever stuff that was in there that we don't even know about. And you know what's funny? There are things today that this generation is carrying that we weren't even there to start the thing that we're carrying.
That's what I said earlier.
There's animosity
Right.
because of conversations that we've heard,
Right.
or because of such and such doesn't like such and such, or
Right.
this happened to so and so this side of the family is angry at such and such and them.
Right.
And we weren't even involved. We weren't even there.
Right.
And so now we're secretly holding grudges against this cousin or against this uncle or against this family member, and we have nothing to do with what took place.
Right.
All we know is that we're just walking around angry and no, I don't want to see you and I ain't got nothing to say to you. And I'll be honest with you, because we can do that on this program. It's like that in my family right now, and I don't even understand why. Like on Nicole, I'm like, what? I'm down here in Dallas with you.
Right.
In essence, in my family, what did I do to you?
Right.
What did I do to where you got to unfriend me on Facebook?
Right.
What did I do to where you got to delete me on social media? I'm like, what did I say to you?
Right.
Nothing. You've heard something
Right.
from a family member, or you have internalized something. Instead of, like you said, communicating and opening our mouths,
That's right.
you saw a post or something and you took it the wrong way,
Right.
or you internalized it and thought it was about you or whatever. And instead of opening your mouth and saying, you know what, cuz, or you know what, fam, this affected me this way. What did you mean by that? Or was this directed towards me? Or this is how I feel about that. But no, we go 4, 5, 6, 17 years without speaking
Right.
because somebody's mad, and we're like, what happened?
Now you can do, and you guys hear me out. Again, I believe that coming from a place of love can break down barriers in that, but you can't make everybody, come together.
Right.
You do the best you can. Those that don't want to, you love them, and you keep building with the ones that do.
Right. I love that.
Right.
Right. And you hit it on the head so perfectly with that. If I'm about love, and if I'm about progress, and if I'm about moving forward, I have to move forward whether you want to or not. I can't keep the ball and chain around around my ankle because you're still mad.
Right.
Or because Meemaw and them and Uncle Willie is still mad.
Right.
I can't do that. Somebody has to be the bigger person.
That's right.
Somebody has to be the adult and say, you know what, if you want to stay mad and you want to stay bitter and you want to take that to your deathbed, blah, 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 that's on you. As for me and my house, I'm going to forgive. I'm going to love you. I'm going to extend that grace to you. If you want to chop it up, if you want to holler at me, blah, 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 I'm here. My family is here. We can do that.
Yes.
But what I'm not...
Because we want it.
Because we want it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to keep going around this mountain in circles with you over stuff that's old, that's silly, that's irrelevant,
And that you don't even know what's
and
going
I don't even know
on,
what happened. I don't know
happened.
what's going on, or something that
Right.
happened 10 years ago that I don't even remember.
Right.
And so that's the stuff that we're holding on to in our families, is these grudges
Right.
that is stifling and stunning our growth, and that's killing our time and our opportunities, like we talked about
Right.
earlier.
Sister Marion is on. Sister Marion Hollis, thank you for coming on. She said, forgiveness is for you, not the other person. And what she means is, yeah, because if you internalize and don't forgive that person or forgive whoever or whatever happens, you internalize that. And again, that begins to what? Break down your body on the inside. That's why so many people have different diseases. Disease, the word disease, dis-ease.
Dis-ease, right.
Okay? That's the reason why. Is because people haven't looked at the fact that I'm harboring anger. I'm harboring resentment. Oh, okay. I went through a divorce and separation. It was terrible. And for a while, I did do that. That's honest. I did do that. But you know what? I went back to God and said, I don't want to hold on to this. I want to let go. I have a little girl to raise. So and she didn't need that. She was already trying to recover through all of the separation and divorce that, we went through. So I had to realize, is this going to be beneficial for her and I going forward, to hold on to what happened and what didn't happen and who fault it was? Or is it going to be more beneficial for me to move forward, move on, say, hey, love you, but I'm moving forward so that my child and my life can have a better life, and not a life that is free. That's Sister Marion said. A life that is free and not filled with anger, animosity, or anything. My ex, I have no anger towards him at all. I pray for him. You know that.
Yep.
I pray for him consistently. There's no anger. There's no bitterness, because there's no reason for me to be. God kept me standing. And look what happened to me. I went on with my life and did what I knew I was supposed to do. And guess what? I'm sitting beside this handsome chocolate man. Right. You understand? Yeah. So sometimes we think that what happens to us in life, that has injured us so much that it cut everything off. And it did not cut everything off. Right. If you would just look at the situation, analyze it, go back and say, what can I learn from this? What was my part in it? What part did I play in it? Maybe that I had a hand in. Right. And what can I do going forward with what I've learned to help me in where I'm going and where God is taking me? That's what we want to do. When we come together as family, again, like you said, your family and the dynamics and the things that are going on. Yes, you're doing what's right. Let the anger go. Let the animosity go. Any of that stuff go. Reach out and say, yes, hey, I'm here. I would love to have a relationship with you. But you know what? Once you extend the olive leaf, it is then up to them to say, hey, I want to reach back and see and get to know you. Who is my cousin? Landa, who is this young man that's my nephew or whatever, or whoever it is. Family members that are upset about things that you don't have anything to do with. If you guys have family members that are like that, if you're the one that's looking at this, go to your cousins or to your nieces or nephews or aunt or parent and stop it. Right. Just go to them and say, hey, I had a part in this. I'm sorry for what I've done. Right. And you guys begin to heal and mend your relationships.
That's so good. That's so good.
Excuse me.
And it's so needed. It's so needed, especially going into the holidays. And I want to touch on one more main thing.
Right.
Is that I know, and I remember telling you this even before, leading up to Thanksgiving, is because I did not have that real close-knit family unit as far as with my relatives outside of my immediate family. I didn't really look forward to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We've
Right?
talked about that.
And we've talked about that. And sometimes, and you could feel it, and I could feel it, is that right around September, October, this time of the year, this lull would come over me.
Right.
And I had to start recognizing it. Sometimes, even when I recognized it, I didn't necessarily know how to handle it. I didn't know how to fix it. Because it was like, okay, I see this coming. I can feel this coming. I can feel this inside of me for Thanksgiving. I don't get it for Christmas. I love Christmas. But just something about Thanksgiving, I just I couldn't get with, during this time of the year. And I think one of the things also that I'd like to hit on is the loss of loved ones. And
Could it be that about Thanksgiving? Because
I
I don't want to bypass that and not, we all try to figure out, even ourselves, what the answer may be.
I think it's a part of it. I don't think it's ultimately that, but I think it's a part of the reason why.
Right.
Me losing my father, in 2005.
Yeah.
And my dad was the mainstay in our immediate family for me when it came to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because I remember him doing the cooking. I remember him baking the pies and and having us clean the collards and all this different stuff. And so that's what I remember about Thanksgiving, was him being an integral part of that, along with my mom, them doing it together.
Yeah.
And so I guess because that is no longer there in that respect, then I start kind of missing. I start missing that feeling that I would have as a kid when Dad was there. Yeah. And so and I'll be honest, I struggle with the ability to recreate that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't cook. I can't cook. So I struggle with, how do I recreate that feeling that I used to have around this time when my dad was there?
You said one thing that maybe we haven't recognized. You said that your mom would help your dad, and they would get in the kitchen and do it together. Would they laugh and stuff?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
Honestly, no. I don't. I mean, if Mom is watching, I'm sure she could, answer that way better than I could. But I don't remember that.
You don't remember
what I remember, and it's funny because and I told you this, when it comes to Thanksgiving, I don't like the smell of a whole lot of different foods at one time. Because it's just like this big. I'm weird, y'all. I'm totally weird.
I'm in here trying to cook for us and him, and
right.
Because that's my love language.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I know that's your love language, and because I know that's what you grew up, I have to turn that old, introverted, get in my own space, shrink myself into my turtle shell Landa. I got to turn that guy off and say, you know what? No, I have another family now. I have my wife. I have Essence. I have other components now that I need to be there for. And so, if the baton was dropped with my dad passing, then I gotta find a way to pick it up in my way, in the best way that I know how.
I know one way.
Okay.
You can get in the kitchen and help me.
But see, you want to eat. you actually want to eat.
That's why my mom always said, "Tell Lana to bake me a cake." Right. I told Mom, "Do you want to live?"
Right. You want to actually eat what
but it'll be fun.
And it would be.
Yeah.
And it would be. And so I have to know, and I'll be honest, I'm the first one to admit I have to learn that.
Yeah.
I have to learn again how to turn that guy off. And be like, you know what? I need to create new moments, new memories with this family. And it's and I won't say it's a struggle, but it does take that effort.
Yeah.
It does take, like, you have to be willing to come out of yourself, out of your comfort zone, and say, you know what? This is needed of me.
Right, because you don't realize that not only do I feel it, our daughter feels it.
Right.
And she wants you to be here laughing with us and participating with us, and not always just in your office,
Right.
and away, and then, not wanting to smell the food.
Now, but
stuff like
this year was weird because one,
I was sick.
you were sick,
Yeah.
you know, and we couldn't really spend time. I know I went to go spend time with my family.
Yes.
And one of the things
Essence had to work.
Essence had to work,
Right.
you know, and being in the medical industry, you got, you know, when you on call, you got to do what you got to do. And so it was funky this year for Thanksgiving, right? And then, you know, this flu bug or whatever this is going on around Texas and Dallas was coming in.
Yeah.
And so it didn't allow us, you know, to really spend Thanksgiving together like we wanted to.
Yeah.
But there's always Christmas.
It's always Christmas.
There's always Christmas, you guys. And so we're a month out from Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about today, is a family affair, because even if you didn't get it right at the beginning of the year or earlier in the year,
Right.
even if you didn't get it right around Thanksgiving or the holiday, around Thanksgiving, we can end the year strong. And that's what I want to do. I want to end the year strong with family, with love. If there's any animosity, any bitterness, let's talk it out.
Yes.
Let's chop it up.
Please.
Hit me up in the inbox. And then after you hit me up in the inbox, drop your number.
Too.
Yeah, drop the phone number so we can actually talk.
Yeah.
So I can hear your voice and you can hear mine.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yes,
you know,
because you guys, this, like we said, time is definitely shorter now, and it feels it, and you can see it.
Oh yeah.
And there's no reason for us to continue on anything that we should have never picked up. You know, we have to learn to. Our children are watching us too.
Yes.
You know, and if we're doing that, then guess what? They're going to do it, right?
Right. So you guys, we're about to get ready to close our program, but before we do, like every program, we got to pay them bills. Them bills. And so you guys don't go nowhere, don't touch nothing.
Yes.
We're going to be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. It doesn't matter what they call you. What matters is what you answer to. Landisheray. All right, you guys, and we're back to Living More with the Morgans. And before we close out tonight's podcast, again, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. And we know that you guys can tune in throughout the rest of the week on our official YouTube channel. And if you're not on YouTube, go ahead and fill out the paperwork, fill out the online form. Why? Because you need to have a channel in order to subscribe to our channel. So go ahead and do that. Sign up for your own free YouTube channel. And that way you can follow us, and we definitely do follow back. And so we want you guys to subscribe because we want to get good content out there to people around the world that can tune into this broadcast. And you guys, you know what we're going to do is we're going to bring more episodes with us live on location. So when we start traveling, and we are going to start traveling, we're going to travel, we're going to see the world, and we're going to bring you with us. So when we're on location in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, Australia, wherever the Lord takes us, we're going to be right there filming Living More with the Morgans. So we're going to bring those locations. We're going to bring people. We're going to bring cultures. We're going to bring food. We're going to bring all those experiences with us on Living More with the Morgans. So be sure to, again, go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Living More with the Morgans, you guys. And so before we log out and before we head out, I just want to say that as we close out November and we head into December, into the holiday of Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa and so forth. We're
Yes.
celebrating the birth of Yeshua,
Yes.
the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's green and white and red around here for that reason only. So it ain't about you struggling, trying to make money so you can hit all the Black Friday deals or buy Christmas gifts. It ain't about that.
No, it's really not.
It ain't about you trying to pay your rent money or spend your rent money on gifts and stuff that you can't afford.
Right.
For kids that they ain't gonna want what they had Christmas Day, they ain't gonna want it the next day.
Right.
It's not about that.
No.
It's about family.
Yep.
It's about showing love.
Yes.
It's about coming together. And it's about spending time with people that you love and people that love you.
Right.
And so as we enter into the Christmas season, we're going to get festive on here. Right now, we got the leaves falling in the back. We're closing out fall. And we're going to go forward in the winter. But as we do, make sure that you make a concerted effort
Yes.
to lock arms with family. You know, put down the text message and pick up the phone
Yes.
and actually hear the person's voice on the other side. I think about the young lady that was senselessly murdered in Mexico. I think her name was Shanquella.
Yes, it was.
And how she was texting her mom before she was murdered, brutally murdered. And she was texting her mom saying, hey, we got here and we made it safely, yada, yada. And that was the last time she had communication with her mom and with her daughter. But what if she could have heard her voice? What if she could have picked up the phone and said, hey, Mom, I'm here? And maybe Mom could have prayed. Maybe Mom could have said something encouraging to her. Who knows? We don't want to be in that predicament, in that situation. Now, that's a bit extreme, but it's the reality. If we can pick up the phone now and just say, hey, I was thinking about you, cuz. I was thinking about your mom. Some people, y'all ain't said nothing to your mama or to your father in years.
Right.
All year.
Right.
All year. You haven't said anything to your brother or your sister? Why? Don't you know that God is looking at you? Don't you know that he's looking at your heart and how you treat people? But you can change that today. And you can change that right now.
That's right.
You can change that right now. No procrastinating, no hesitating. You can say, you know what? Y'all right. I'm going to go and pick up the phone. And maybe it don't start with picking up the phone. Maybe it starts with, you know, they on Facebook. You know they on Instagram. Maybe it just starts with a DM. Hey fam, I was just thinking about you and here's my phone number. And if you feel like you want to talk, give me a call, please. Or if you can shoot me your number, I'd love to hear from you.
Right.
Maybe it starts with just something simple like that.
A start.
Let's start.
Yes.
But start. Let's go into the holidays thinking different, doing bigger, doing better, living more,
That's right.
loving more, with more life and more love.
Yes.
And there's so much more to explore.
So much more.
And so, y'all, we're going to keep doing life together, and we're going to keep doing it big. And if you enjoyed this podcast, again, share it on your wall. Go to YouTube and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook.
Right.
And tell people that you got a dope podcast out there of some people who are real, a couple that's real, a couple that struggles like everyone else is, but is looking to find the solutions to their problems. So when we find the water to drink from,
You'll find.
we're showing you where we're
That's
showing you
right.
where you can drink from.
That's right.
That's what it's all about, y'all.
Absolutely.
All it is that we found the water. And every day we got to take a sip of it. And if we drinking good, we want you to drink good too.
Absolutely.
And so you guys, we love you.
We love you.
And again, thank you so much
Thank you so much
for tuning in to Living More with the Morgans. My name is Landis Ray Morgan. Again, this is my beautiful wife.
I'm Rotunda Morgan.
And you've tuned in to Living More with the Morgans. We'll see you next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central.
Love you guys.